Well, hello, my fellow Americans and fellow Christians. Thank you for taking time to join me today. May the peace of God be greatly with you. My friends, a prominent lawyer in America has argued that legalizing illicit drugs will lead to the reduction of crime. On the other hand, there was a report by physicians that cocaine was deadlier than they thought. Fentanyl seems to be the trend now across America, along with heroin. The debate is which remedy is best for society, legalization or the free-for-all. In my estimation, neither. It seems we have sly foxes in this country who have no conscience. They prefer to treat people as objects instead of persons. In a conversation about the drug addictions of Hollywood and the music industry, which many have overdosed and died, one person said it is sad that they have turned to drugs, which destroyed their lives. One other person said, well, maybe they needed it. In other words, saying that which is destructive is far superior to one having a conscience, which is ludicrous. The desire should be to improve human nature, not destroy it. The manipulation of social values, fostering the implicit approval of vice for avarice, has been the opponent of independent moral thought for decades. It is nothing new, but it has gained by leaps and bounds, due to the fact lobbyists have done everything in their power to manipulate public policies in the country. This is a substantial roadblock in American society. The country does not seem to know the difference between ignorance and knowledge. The ignorance that tyranny through lobbying, whether through local, state, or federal level, determines another's fate, where men and women with a conscience will make sure one's future is free, spontaneous, and authentic. Which leads us to the thought, if there is no moral basis for the nation to rely upon, how can it even consider it will have not a catastrophic end? Christianity seemed to have the eye of many within the country since its inception. It had the moral basis for men and women to have a conscience that would consider their ways. It permitted people to have a way of intervention when thinking about doing something that was wrong, unwise, or just plain immoral. We see in our society today the young particularly picking up weapons and just blatantly firing to crowds of people, whether schools, shopping centers, etc. What is tragic if we no longer teach our youth to have a conscience or the fear of God. The sixth commandment is, thou shalt not kill. If this was in the consciousness of us all, perhaps people would concern themselves with youth having weapons, seeing many are immature and easily swayed by its power. This is a free-for-all society, and being a parent is no longer admissible. Parenting today is largely to blame for the woes of our youth and the tragic lives so many of them are leading. Many parents are just horrible examples in their behavior, and there is no interconnection of social values, practices, or Christian faith that helps support the healthy growth of children. Yet parenting is just a smidgen compared to the social changes that influence not only the youth, but society as a whole. Social media today is partly responsible for the ills of society. The crowding out of wholesome living is all but obvious. First, to be frank, there is no longer any mention of God, prayer, or the thought of conscience in any social media entertainment whatsoever. The standards and ideals of living are set aside for murder documentaries and destructive practices harmful to society. Its influence is overwhelming. It has crowded out the family unit that used to go to church on Sunday and have proper family get-togethers necessary for self-respect and dignified living. It has damaged the common purpose of life. It has confused the common goals we all should have for a unified, strong nation. My friends, our problem goes much deeper than this. It is said that over 200 million people view televangelists. If 2/3 of the country claims to be Christian, and the moral dilemmas of violence and drug use alone are issues no one seems to solve, then where is the power of televangelism? It is not present, and the nation reflects it. We need to get out of these pews. This is worth noting. Televangelism supports Trump and is now a convicted individual and convicted fraud. It must be noted, if not concluded in this nation, that evangelical Christianity supporting Trump as a convicted individual and a fraud, with more indictments pending, no longer have any regard for the virtues of Christ and have completely become an unethical, heretical sect. Where are the televangelists and evangelical leaders after these verdicts? Where is Franklin Graham, Greg Laurie, Ken Copeland? Where is Christ's defense of a man who is a convicted rapist and now a fraud? Woe unto you who call evil good and good evil. The Lord sees it all, but so do we. To carry on this form of Christianity as proper leads us right back to our title. My friends, in the book of Jeremiah, the Lord says through Jeremiah that if you were blessed in the past and you are now oppressed, then why not return to the ways of the past that brought blessing? My friends, JFK said, "What kind of peace do we seek? He is no longer with us." Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream." He is no longer with us. RFK said, "I believe we are a compassionate people." He is no longer with us. My friends, may I remind you that there are sly foxes out there and men and women with no conscience. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.